Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back to our channel. Hey, Obodo fam. Good afternoon, good morning. Thanks for joining us tonight. How is everyone doing? Feel slightly tired today. Too much waka waka, so we're just gonna jump right into it. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe. Hello. Uzo, how are you? Hi, Junior. Lovely to see you. I hope you're doing well. My Aburo. Welcome. Cherise Olivia, I see you. Thank you, everybody. Please like and share. So tonight, I this story I want to share is a sad one. So we talk about Japa all the time. The live stream I had last week with Junior and the Good Life Mentor, we're talking about Japa, Kakpa, and Jakpada and all that stuff. So we all know that this is a real thing. A lot of people are Japaing from Nigeria looking for greener pastures. So that is the story of this young mother that I want to share today. This actually happened back in 2022, but as you know, in this part of the world, whenever something like this happens, they have what they call a serious case review, where they will look at it to see what the failings are of the local authority, all the agencies and services that were involved with, especially if it's a vulnerable person, like a child or an adult, vulnerable adult or a child that, that was vulnerable in whatever way. So the baby is 2 years old. Her name is Mazidat Adeoye. Mazidat Adeoye. So it happened in Newham. Newham is in southeast London. All you Londoners, you know where Newham is, and yeah, that's where it happened. Her name is the young baby's name is Mazdidat Adioye, and it is the coroner's inquest that is making us to know about it now, because they've now concluded the coroner's inquest, where they found that the council called Newham Council, they found them uh to be it says that it was gross failure that led to why this little child is no more with us. Okay, so the local authorities, like the local government, what we call local government in Nigeria, so in the UK they call them local authorities. This is basically the same thing. So what happened? This 2-year-old girl, little child, was left with someone to care for, because the mother had to go to hospital to look after the brother, the baby brother, who was having a surgery, an operation in January of 2022. So she was a single mother. She came to the UK, but I don't know, somewhere along the line, her marriage broke up. Okay. Um, the mother's name is Billy Kiss Adeoye. So what happened was that she had two children, and one of the child, which is the boy who was younger, needed a life-saving surgery. They say the boy had a hole in his heart and needed to go into hospital for surgery. So she couldn't take the baby to the hospital because of the restriction back then. Remember when there was COVID and thereafter, the hospitals had a lot of restriction whereby they were not allowing people to visit. Yeah, you couldn't come to the hospital except, you know, you are the person that. In the heart of COVID, as a matter of fact, um, you can't even come into the hospital. They were not allowing people to come into the hospital in the UK, except you are the patient. And later on, when the lockdown ended and things started, changing, they were not allowing visitors again because of health and safety. So yeah, she couldn't take the baby to the hospital. So it just says that she was asking new. Okay, let me give you a little bit background about the mother. She came to the UK on a visiting visa. Okay, these are some of the issues I want to touch on today because the thing that Japa, there's a lot of issues with Japa. When people don't Japa legally, and I know a lot of Nigerians, when you're trying to explain this thing to them, like they don't want to hear. When people are desperate, they just want to Japa. There's nothing you want to tell them about how illegal immigration, the struggles. They just want to get out of the country, so they won't listen. The mom of five, how are you, darling? Nice to see you. I know me and you were chatting earlier on Instagram chats about this. Yeah, this jackpot of a thing, and there are categories of jackpot. When people jackpot without the right documents, there are implications, and they are not usually very pleasant. So a lot of people will get a visiting visa and just come abroad and wing it. To be honest, a lot of people got their papers, but it's usually that journey is usually not easy. Some people will wait 15, 20 years before they can get their permanent residence. I was telling you of the young lady the other day before I traveled who uh was stuck. I haven't even heard from her, to be honest. I don't know what's happening to her, and I need to check up on her to see what's going on. She traveled to Nigeria to and she was stuck. So when you travel on a visiting visa, there's a lot of restriction. One of them in the UK here is that you have no recourse to public funds. What it means is that you are not entitled to anything that the citizens have access to, i.e., healthcare, social services, all the services that the citizens will pay for, or they will take some deduction from their national insurance or from their taxes and all that. You are not eligible for that. It's difficult for you to explain it to someone in Nigeria because even if they understand, uh they don't fully process it. They'll be like, ṣebí àwọn èèyàn ló ń lọ síbẹ̀ yẹn, èmi náà tí n bá débẹ̀ yẹn, I'll figure it out. And some people have figured it out that way, but you know how immigration is, it changes all the time. And I can tell you categorically now, in the UK, that is more difficult now than it was in the 80s, in the 90s, for you to come with a visiting visa and figure it out. Some people are stuck. They are definitely stuck. They get here and figuring it out takes time. First of all, you have no right to work when you come here with a visiting visa because every part of the abroad you need to have the right to work. Work permit is a real thing. If you don't have work permit, you cannot work. Even if you are doing under the table work, sometimes you might not get. Sometimes you don't earn enough. So it has a lot of setbacks. And again, traveling, when you jackpot with children, I usually tell people, if you want to jackpot, if it's possible, you have young children and you want to jackpot because of work, you're trying to look for greener pastures, you want to come and make money, bringing young children is a no-no. Because we all know that childcare is very, very expensive. Somebody is asking a question. Rebecca Hughes is asking that, she said, Auntie B, I'm curious. Are there no Nigerian families in her area? You're asking like this. Nigerian families pay. Nigerian, nobody send you in the abroad now. You can just walk up to. This is not Niger that you just walk up to anybody. That neighbors. I mean, neighbors. Everybody knows each other. You talk. You fellowship. The other day in Abuja, I saw my cousin, my brother, greeting the neighbor. I think I shared this story with you guys the other day. Across the road, they were greeting each other. Ja, good morning, no, long time no see. The abroad is not like that. The Nigerian families, everybody is working. Children are going to school. Daddy is working, mommy is working, uncle is, everybody is working. Who has time? Nobody has time. Remember that everybody is just trying to get by. Everybody is trying to make money to pay their bills, and then the almighty black tax that is hanging on everybody's neck is sitting there waiting for you. It's not easy. So there are a couple of issues with this matter, as I said. Bilkis came here. Uh, Her visa expired and she had overstayed, according to the reports. Now, she needed to go to the hospital to be with her son, uh, who was going to have a they say it's a life-saving surgery because the boy had a hole in the heart. The question is now she's no longer with her husband for whatever reason. So she was with her children, the two children. Who is going to look after the baby? She cannot take the baby with her to the hospital. You see, these decisions are split second decisions that sometimes you feel so trapped. You don't know who to call, you don't know what to do. It takes time to build a social network around yourself in the abroad. I remember when I first came to the UK. The first friends I made, apart from the one or two people that I knew back from Nigeria, were the children's school gates. That's where I started making friends. When I take my children to school, they were in primary school then. I will talk to other Nigerian women or other black women that I see. That's how I started making friends. It's always very difficult when you are new and you don't know anybody in a strange environment. Everybody minds their business. Nobody sends you. So building a community takes time. And that is why a lot of people feel very isolated when they get here. I saw a video the other day of a young lady working in a warehouse. I suspect that is an Amazon warehouse, and she was, really crying and saying that she's cold. They were not giving the right clothing, and the place was really freezing. How many of you saw that video? There's no country in the abroad that allows anybody to work with a visiting visa. You need a work permit. So what happened was that she had gone to the social services to ask for help in that council. It's called Newham, and they refused. So this is where I have something to say to some of my colleagues that are social workers, because I know we have a lot of black people in social services. Guys, let's be human. No, I was having this conversation with my sister earlier on. Kindness helps. So there are rules, or there are laws guiding, we work under laws. There's social work law, and there are always procedures that you need to follow. However, there is no law, there is no guidance or procedure that cannot have a human input. So even if they say, oh, because Bilkis has overstayed on her visa, now she doesn't have a visa, she's not entitled to anything from social services, there is what is called no recourse to public funds, whereby people don't have these things I've just mentioned. If you are not a citizen, uh, and you don't have, what's it called? You don't have any ties, or what they call, uh, you're not eligible for anything. There's still an aspect of social services that can help you. So that's why people need to be human. Just be human first. This young lady was desperate. She was really desperate. You know how you have a situation where you feel like you are between the devil and the deep blue sea? Iwájú ò ṣe lọ, ẹ̀yìn ò ṣe padà sí. What are you gonna do? She has this baby to look after. Hospital is saying you cannot bring the baby. No status. The younger son needed a life-saving surgery. She needed to go to the hospital to be with the boy. What's she going to do? So I say this to a lot of my colleagues and some of our people, because if you go to any borough you go to, now we full social services. For every social service team that you see, 80% of the social workers are black. Most of them are Nigerians, Zimbabweans, Ghanaians. You hardly see white people there. The reason why you don't see black people is because the work is very challenging. So, now the tough one that they leave for us to do. Then the white people, the few ones that are there will now be the oga. They will be the directors and everything. The team leader can be Oibo, but every social worker there, senior social worker there, you will best be sure that most of them will be Dudu. So I want to really, really say this to you. Whenever you see our people, even if they don't have what it takes, just try and see what you can do to help. Go and talk to your manager. Let them make provision. You can fight. Part of our job is the baby. And we have a duty of care under the law, which is what is the law now, sef? Mo ti jẹun gbàgbé. Fundamental human rights. Yeah. We have the baby has the right under the fundamental human rights to access care. And that is why the hospital had to do that surgery for the boy, because I'm sure she has not paid into the NHS. So she doesn't even qualify for what's it called? She doesn't qualify for NHS services. But you know what the hospitals will do? They'll treat her and then they'll send her the bill later. At least they would have done that duty of care. Because under the law, again, you cannot send somebody that is sick away. Whether they have paper, they don't have paper. It's against their code of ethics. You need to treat, then later you pay. Yeah, then later they will start paying. So I'm appealing to you, my sisters and brothers who are in these places, whether you work in hospital or you work in local authority, let us work with a human heart. Let's help our own people. It's very important. Don't just send people away because they don't have status, they don't have paper. You say, I go away, I can't help you. There's nothing I can do. They will keep calling, calling, calling. And you have to, some social workers they are wicked. I don't know why. Especially in that children's services. I'm sorry. It doesn't cost you anything. The money is not your money, it's public funds. So it's not like if they place the baby in foster care, it's gonna be deducted from your salary or from your income. So why can't you help your own people? And that's why you see this woman that is calling herself a conservative leader. That's one that they call Kemi. If she ever comes up for election, you people better don't vote for her. Don't vote for her because she go deal with you now. Now go collect. I'm telling you, she will deal with you. So you better don't say, yeah, Abike Dabri saying that they've been trying to reach out to her and she's not responding. You think she cares about you? You think she's a Nigerian? She thinks she's a Nigerian. Okay, that's another conversation for another day. I'm digressing. Let me continue with the story. So Bilikis went and was asking for help. They didn't. They refused her because she doesn't have status. Even the medics, like the paramedics, ambulance that probably took the boy to the hospital, requested for help through the council, but they still refused. What were they asking for? Place this baby in foster care because she cannot take the baby to the hospital and she needed to be with the boy during the surgery. That's all. That's all. That's all she's asking for. But they refused. So what did she do? I'm sure she just looked for one person that is available that will take the baby and left the baby. She had only been in the UK for 10 months and she had no local relatives, no support networks, and the COVID restrictions meant that she couldn't take the baby to the hospital. So she was forced to leave the daughter. And she describes this young baby as the most beautiful and happy little girl. She said, I had to leave the baby with people she didn't know or trust well enough. So when she left the baby, the day that she was supposed to return from hospital, the baby went missing from the house. The house she placed the baby was in Dagenham. So if you know London, you will know that there's a distance between, Newham and Dagenham. That's going from southeast London to East London. So she had to take the baby all the way to Dagenham. And of course, there was gross neglect because the baby is just how many years old? Hmm? You need to watch, when they're in their age, you need to watch them like a hawk. She was only 2 years old. At that age, if you've had children before, they don't know anything yet, so they can walk, which makes it really dangerous. They will be everywhere. So they left the baby, they didn't watch her. She wandered into the garden and fell into water. And by the time they found her, it was too late. Oh, Mama Sheo, what a sad, 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 sad situation. Mm. So that's what happened. They called the police. When they didn't see her, they were looking for her. And I'm wondering, how can you be looking for a 2-year-old? So it means that they were not watching her. I don't know, maybe they left her in the house and went out or whatever. How did she open the back door to get into the garden? Hmm? How did she open the back door? Hmm? I don't know how she opened the back door. I don't know. But she entered the garden. So the police found her in a plastic bin in the back garden where she had fallen into head first. She fell into the thing, and was 9 centimeters of water that was there that entered the bin, and she fell into it, and that was it. And the coroner's court found that she had fallen into that water while she was playing alone, and she was inadequately supervised in the garden. So the person that was caring for the baby is an acquaintance, and she said she had no choice but to leave the baby with the acquaintance because that was the last resort. Hmm. So in all this, I'm asking, where is the father? Because she didn't come to Nigeria as a single mother. Oh. She came here and she was married. So where is the father in all this? Um, a woman there are two children. One of them two, the other one younger. One needed surgery, and it's only one parent. Where is the other parent? That's the question me I want to find out. In all this, where is the father? Because we can blame social services and blame, everybody, but where is the father? It takes two people to bring children into this world, and that's why I have a lot of respect for fathers who are involved or who try their best to be involved. And so I asked the question in my Instagram story this afternoon when I posted it. I said, when a marriage ends, does parenting end? So because a marriage breaks down now, you're living together with your partner, you have children, and for whatever reason the marriage ends. Does your duty as a father or your duty as a mother, why is it that in most cases, I know women are the primary caregiver, but unfortunately, a lot of fathers, not all, because some men don't play with their children. And that's why I always have respect for, that the band's in-law called Dotun that's been fighting for his children. When you see a man that actually cares about his children, fighting to be involved in the children's life, I have a lot of respect for men like that. Unfortunately, majority of men who are fathers, once a marriage ends, they don't look back. They don't. They just walk away and they don't look back at all. So I'm wondering now, the man that is the father of this child, he's here in the UK. One of your child is going to have surgery, and the other one is a baby. You probably went to work. If you are listening to this now, I'm wondering how, when you heard the news, because there's no way she would not have reached out to him to say, look, I need to go to the hospital can you hold the girl so that I can go to the hospital? The hospital is not asking, is not allowing me to bring her. And I'm wondering how is he going to sleep at night? Because he has failed her. Yeah, he failed. He failed this young, beautiful young baby, only 2 years old. Why is it that when a marriage ends, in most cases, women are the ones that are stuck with, the children, and some fathers, or not some, majority of fathers don't look back. Why? Is it like, okay, marriage ended, so if you are the one that initiated the divorce and say you don't want to marry again, uh, so you should be the one that will be suffering alone? Why? I don't understand. Look, brothers, if you're a father out there and you are listening to this, you need to do better. Oh. We've always had this conversation here where I encourage fathers. I said, be involved in your children's life now. Because again, we are seeing over and over again where adults are coming up and saying that, oh, my father didn't do this. My father was not there for me. My father didn't do this. My father didn't do this. Now that I'm this, my father wants to come back. And these Gen Z children no send you. They no send you at all. So where is the father in all this? Why is it that it was only, you know, this woman that was rushing from pillar to post with two young children, having to go and leave a baby with somebody she doesn't even know or trust? And now the baby is gone. Why? Why? Because when a marriage ends, parenting does not end. Parenting can never end as long as you are you participated in bringing those children to look. Children don't ask to be born, and that's why our culture, especially Nigerians. You know how obsessed we are with children. If you born one, they'll say, "Ah, where the number two?" If you born two, where number three? If you born girls, where boys? If you born boys, where girls? Oyibo people, most of them, if they don't have, maybe they feel like their lifestyle does not accommodate children, or they just don't feel like, they'll tell you no. They can live their life successfully without children. But a lot of times we have children and caring for them becomes a problem. So I'm just putting myself in this young woman's position now. Billy Kiss, her name is Billy Kiss Adeoye. I'm trying to put myself in a position and imagine what she may have been going through at that time in 2022, trying to cope. This is you on an expired visa in a country that you just came to 10 months earlier, not even 1 year in the country. Yeah, you're not even 1 year in the country. You just came. No network, social connection, no friends, just acquaintance, maybe people you meet in Asalatu or whatever. And so, because if it was somebody that actually cares for her, that loves her, like a family or a close friend, they will not leave a 2-year-old baby to be wandering around in the garden. How will she get out of the house? They won't leave her alone. So it was definitely neglect. This is what they called neglect. They neglected that baby, and you see how it ended? And I'm wondering, for the father, is it that he was not aware that, you know, the son needed surgery? Could he not have gone to the hospital to be with the boy that's having surgery so that the mother can look after the daughter? They said that he's British. The father is a British. Oh, so these are all the issues, my people. Mm, these are all the issue. Yeah, these are some of the issues of Japa, especially when you Japa with children. So of course they are going to do their serious case review. They will take the learning uh from it, what went wrong. It's an investigation, and usually, they are outing Newham cancer now, but is it going to bring the baby back? No, it's not going to bring the baby back. This is a loss that only the mother, especially, and maybe perhaps the father and then, the people that knew her will feel. Is gone. She's gone. 2 year old, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful baby. The baby is actually absolutely gorgeous baby. So where is the father? That's my question. Where is the father of these babies? Why was it that it was only the mom that is running up and down, kitty, 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 kitty? So there's a lot of learning there today on this particular one. Please, I know sometimes separation and divorces can be bitter. People can get hurt, or you can feel disappointed. It's not what you wish for. Nobody wish for, I've never. I said it yesterday on the show that before you see a Nigerian marriage that ends amicably, I've never seen. I say, oh, I will just sit down. We don't want to do it again. Let everybody go their own way, and people will go and have their divorce party. Low. Mm-mm. It never happens. It never happens. So these are some of the issues of jackpying. You cannot tell people not to jackpot, but the issues of jackpot, it's a lot. It's a lot of issues of jackpot, of which people don't take into consideration. They don't really take the whole thing into consideration. This is what is going to happen. How you going to look after the baby and all that. So I don't know. Maybe she was pregnant when she came here, because I think Sissy was saying that the baby was just born. The boy was just born in hospital. Sissy, is that what I heard you saying? Yeah. These are some of the issues. So I just want to encourage, if you are listening to this and you are a parent, please, no matter what happens, even if the woman is Jezebel, your children are not Jezebel. No matter what, the children did not offend you. They didn't ask to be born. Men, please, when marriage ends, parenting does not end. Fathers, don't just go away because you can just go away. You probably, doing your own thing and you don't look back. Please don't do that. Don't again, sometimes people use this thing to punish one another. In some cases, you see some mothers that will deprive the dad, access to the children, because they say, you did it to me, you did it to me. So they start playing games, manipulating their children, and manipulating the relationship with their dad. That also is absolutely, absolutely witchcraft. In my opinion, that's witchcraft. Don't do anything to damage children's relationship with their father. Women, please don't do that. I don't care how hot you are. I don't care what he did to you. And he did this, he did it. That he did it to you, not to the children. Do not damage your children's relationship with their father. Also, fathers, please, when marriage ends, don't punish the woman and using the children as a tool to say, I will see how you are going to raise them. Don't do that, oh. Oman lẹ́yìn you. Oman lẹ́yìn. It doesn't end well. Because it's either maybe you go ahead and start a new family. And this is what I usually say. Even if you start a new family and you start having children again, let's say you're a young man and you say, you know what, after I'm a man, even when I'm 80, I can still have children. You are never going to have the children that you already have. You can't reproduce those children anymore. And Sister said, did she have to stay in hospital with the baby though? I don't understand. She could have left the child and just visited like other parents. No, she had to be in the hospital. That's what they said. She had to be in the hospital. It's a serious surgery for a little baby like that. Eos Olosondu said, Auntie B, maybe the husband asked her to go and find someone to take care of the baby, and the father didn't want to leave his work because of that. Yeah, it's usually work. It's usually work. Sisi, maybe you want to direct that question to the NHS and find out why, because you're asking rhetoric questions that we don't have answers to. Yeah. They didn't allow her to take the baby to the hospital because there were COVID restriction in place back in 2022. When a marriage ends, let's focus on the lessons, please. What are we taking away from this? Because we're all about learning the lesson. We can ask questions from now to tomorrow. I don't have the answers to those questions about why she couldn't take the baby, why the boy didn't stay in hospital. I don't have the answers. It's Newham Council, so maybe you can write to them and find out why they didn't allow her to take the baby. Okay? But I think what is going to be helpful for anybody that is watching is, what can we take away from this? What can we learn? What we can learn, Dr. Ife says, when marriage ends, parenting should not end. Marriage is between two adults, while parenting is between father or mother and your kids. Thank you, Dr. Ife. God bless you for that. Oladeji is saying the bitterness of a broken home is usually transferred to the children. Unfortunately, it's very, very sad. Our people don't know how to keep children out of their anger and their bitterness. That's what I've noticed. The more bitter the adults are when a marriage ends, that is, oh, the children. You know what they say now? When two elephants fight, there's an African proverb that says, when two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. A lot of fathers, not all of them. I see a very few, very, very few handful that I had this friend once upon a time. I've never seen a man that, he was going through divorce, and every day the way he was crying, my children know, my children know, my children know. At a point, people were telling him, "Man, don't go and buy yourself." I've never seen. That's something that is so beautiful. It was not just mourning the divorce. It was also mourning the fact, because he had a very, very close relationship with his children. He used to do stuff with his children. They'll go to, and he likes to cook. He's somebody that I know personally. So he likes to cook. So he will take the children, they will go and to the supermarket, they will do shopping, they will go to the children, they enjoy it. These are the things I used to do with his children. So being cut off, because again, it was a very messy divorce. They were dragging each other in court for years. Police involved, escorted out of the house, all that, and all that. Yeah. What are the lessons here? Anna's Nation said there's a lot to learn, Auntie B. But are we ready to learn? We'll keep teaching. That's what we'll do, Anna. We're not going to stop. Even if it's one person, you know how I usually say it, if it's one person that is able to take one learning from this, because our videos travel very far and wide. People listen to us. I'm telling you, they do. You don't know how many people I've run into in Nigeria randomly. And then they were like, TB, I watch your show, I watch your show. You'll be surprised. Yeah, so people watch. So, what are the learning from this? Jump into the studio if you want to make a contribution. We are looking at it from the angle of Japa. The Japa one is number one. When people Japa without, illegal Japa, you Japa with a visa that will soon expire and there is no hope of renewing. Number one. Number two, we are looking at it from the angle of parenting when uh when a marriage ends. Oh, the good life mentor is not here today. He is an expert in this area. He's done this parenting thing so beautifully in a way that I wish Nigerian men can learn from him. The way he parents is just something that is so, so beautiful to watch, to observe, even though he's not even living in the same continent with his children. But when you see a father that is involved, in his children's life, and the children every minute, everything they are calling. The good life mentor, take your flowers, bro. You are doing well. I wish you will speak more on that and help, your brotherhood. It's not all of them, but majority of Nigerian men need to do better when a marriage ends. Please, don't forsake your children. You are a parent, and those children need you. People don't understand the emotional trauma that children go through when a marriage ends. Because they are young, they can't express themselves. You think children don't know when they used to wake up every day and they see mommy and daddy, and all of a sudden now it's only one parent they are seeing. You can lie and tell all the story in this world, but they know. Children know. Mhm. So what are they learning? Put it in the comment section or jump into the studio. I'm going to leave in another 10 minutes. This is just going to be back, back, back. Yeah, the good life mentor is a present father. I've not seen a father like that. Oh my God. Mm. Sister said the learning is if you don't have support, family, mother, father, then don't bring your children abroad if you're still trying to establish yourself. Very, very good point. I actually advised somebody about this the other day. The person wanted to Japa and they have 3 children. And they insisted on bringing the 3 children. I said, stay in Nigeria. Don't Japa. Because people think that parenting is easy in the abroad. Tomorrow we have a show where we're going to be talking about this 13-year-old boy that they shipped back to Nigeria that sued the parents. That's the show I'm doing tomorrow. Parenting is one of the things that is the most difficult thing in the abroad. So yeah, jackpotting with little children. Oh my God. Nah, I wouldn't advise anybody to do it. No, I won't advise anybody because I know I struggled. I really, really struggled. I did. Osato said one of the lessons is that don't jackpot with illegal routes, thinking that you will juggle it. Migration policies are changing, tightening all over the world. As such, it's not easy as before, else you go suffer. Good point. Illegal migration. We discourage it strongly. That's one. I don't know if people will listen like like Anna was saying, would they listen? If you have a visitor's visa, UK, you know how we are very generous. Let me not say that we are stingy. We're very generous. 6 months, they give you 6 months. You come here. Before that 6 months expires, go back. It's better for you to go back and renew it. Somebody can be listening to me now and say, Auntie B, is easier said than done. Is it not money they used to pay tickets? How am I going to go back when I already have some, little work I'm managing? It is a struggle. It's a real struggle. Staying put when your visa has expired is not easy. So I think you have to choose which one is the worst. How do they say it? When you have two devils, you choose the one that you think, yeah. Dr. Ife said, be strategic about Jackpot, especially if you are not legal yet. Honey, babe, welcome to the studio, my darling. How are you? I was
Hello, everybody.
I came to Nigeria.
Oh, apart from my birthday, we've not spoken. Sorry, I've been busy.
Yes.
How is
Busy,
how is
yeah?
it in Nigeria?
Oh, Nigeria is good. Nigeria is lovely.
Oh, I'm envious of you. The weather
Are
is
you?
this crap and all this hustling, getting up.
You are a British person now. How can you be envious of me? You are
I
British.
am because of tomorrow I have to go into the office, put my backpack on my back, get on that train. I'm so envious of you, Auntie B.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah. Yeah, sorry. I was calling. Where is East London now? Which one is East London? Sorry, I was mixing it up. Honey, babe, maybe you can tell me which one is East London. Is Newham is in East London? Yeah,
Yeah,
North
Newham
South
is in East
London.
London. Yeah.
It's East London. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, my dear.
Um, there's many lessons really. I mean, some of the comments have said some of them. You have to be strategic in your Japa. You have to, like I said, I think CC said it that it's not easy in the UK. Even us that are in the UK, there's the idea of that it takes a village to raise a child. It's not easy in the UK. Childcare is expensive. Everybody's at work. It's very, very hard to find childcare. So you need to have a support system. And I mean, paraphrasing what CC says, she said that you need to have, whether it's your mom, your dad, or relatives to help you with childcare because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Even me, even me, I struggled when my kids were younger and I'm still having my issues now. It's not easy with kids in this environment. It's not
Mm-hmm.
easy at all,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're not necessarily legal or you've overstayed. You're in a more difficult situation because you're isolated because you don't want to get caught going out or whatever, or someone will tell on you. So you really need to think about, if you're going to Japa, have everything in place a support system, relatives, hopefully that will help you before you make that choice to come to Japa. And another thing I wanted to say is that it is very, very key to have the father or the mother in the life of your children, because no, even if you a relationship ends, whether it's a marriage and you grieve for the loss of your marriage, the children still need to be parented by the two of you. And I do believe that we need to get to a stage where, yes, you grieve the end of your relationship, but you need to focus on the children. I've said this many times, and I
Yeah.
think that us as parents, it's hard. There's all emotions. I'm not saying that I didn't have those emotions when I ended my relationship or my marriage, but it's all about the kids. I think two parents is better than one. When one is weak, you got the father that can help, because being a single parent is not easy. And I personally, for I'm not saying people choose to be a single parent, but if the father is in the picture, I advise you to allow that parent in to help you with that child, because it's not easy dealing with children as a single parent. And if the
What
father is
if you
there,
try? Let me ask you this, honey babe.
yes, Auntie B.
Because a lot of people, even when I posted this on my Insta
Yes,
story
Auntie B.
today, somebody DM me immediately and said, Auntie B, I'm going through this now.
Mm,
Yeah, let me read what she said.
okay.
She said to me so that you see. So some people want help. They are open to help. They are even trying to be cordial
Yes,
because of the children. But
yes.
what if the father doesn't want to do anything? He's not interested. What do you do? She
You
said,
can't.
let me read it. Sorry, love.
Yes,
She
Auntie B.
said,
Sorry.
this person said it hurts so bad when you get divorced and the man dumps the responsibility
Mm,
of the children on you. I'm in
mm,
the same situation now with 3 children, and since
mm,
2022, not even a single penny or
mm.
call from their father.
Wow.
He's just sitting and waiting for my downfall.
Wow.
Baton. African women should choose their husbands wisely. Hmm.
Yes, I think there's a lot of things in that, but I'm just going to focus on the children's side. You cannot. The thing is that I've been there. I've been to divorce court. I've been there where at the time, I'm not going to put the full blame on him. He started it. I decided I wanted to show him my own madness. So we was doing madness together. The only people that won were the barristers and solicitors. They were collecting money from the two of us. And it got to a
Absolutely.
stage, yeah, that's the only people that won. You can only control your own behavior. Do the right thing as the mother. Allow him access. If he's not interested, at least you have tried your best as the mother. If he is not interested, there's nothing you can do. But at least the door is open for him if he wants to have time with the kids and to be there for them. But I think it's very upsetting, and you want to say something, you want to slag him off, you want to tell the whole of your community he's a useless father. Hold it all in. The children will see what you have done for them. The children will appreciate you as the mother for everything you're doing. They will see that the father is a waste of space, but you have to just do the right thing and just keep quiet. Do what you're supposed to do, so that when they are older, they can see that mommy was there for them, and you will reap what you sow. So I think sometimes it's hard seeing the other parent, not giving a damn, not being there for your children, but you just have to do the right thing, focus on your children, but always leave the door open, because you never know. I know I'm being very, it may not happen. He may decide that, you know what, after a couple of years, I want to be involved with my children. You have to always leave that door open, you know?
So, honey babe, in the
Yes.
US, I think the laws in the US are more strict than here in the UK.
Yes.
Because child support, they don't play with it in the US. You know that. You
Yes.
can people
Yes.
people can actually go to jail for child
Yes.
support.
For not paying child support. I can see what
So
CC has said as well. Yes, you can do it here as well.
is there a way that we can make the other parent to be more accountable?
They can only be
What can you
accountable
do?
financially. You can't force them to be with the kid.
Hmm.
Only financially, like CC said, what she said, you can force them to be financially responsible. But in terms of physically being responsible, you cannot force a father to drive to the house and pick them up and take them for the weekend. There's no court that I know in this UK that can force any father to do that. All you can get them to do is make them financially responsible. So unless they have the mindset that I want to be involved in my children's life, there's nothing you can do apart from take him in the case of the UK, to the child maintenance agency and force him to pay. Apart from that, you can't do anything else.
Mm.
It's really disheartening. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, there's a situation on Sunday where my son was misbehaving. I called the father of my child. He said, "Oh yeah, come to my house for 2 weeks. Since you're misbehaving and you refuse to do your homework, you refuse to do many of the things your mom is complaining about, he's staying with his dad. His dad is 10 minutes from my house. When my son's head has cooled down, he will now come back to my house." So me having the father present, when there's any issues, I can call on him to say, "Listen, this boy is doing my head in. Come and collect your child. Have him for a couple of days or a couple of weeks." So at least I'm getting help. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so there was this incident that happened in Lagos where
Hmm.
this woman said that her husband had was on transfer from another state in Nigeria and came to Lagos to work. And that since he came to Lagos, he's only be sending like stipends, like maybe 50,000 naira, which cannot buy a bag of rice, by the way.
Hmm.
So one day the woman woke up, packed the three children, went to the man's office, and just dumped the three children and walked away.
And TV, I'm not gonna lie. There was a time where my son's dad was, I was complaining. You know what I did? I went to the house. I said, "Oh yeah, go and stay with your dad." I knocked on the door. I said, "Take this child." I drove off. I'm not gonna lie. I did not even speak to the father. I drove off. I
The
was so
colleague was the one that was not posting it, babe. This woman just brushed it straight. Say, you know what? Since you think 50,000 can feed three whole children, okay,
mm,
over to you. They
mhm,
are yours. Oh yeah.
mhm.
The woman just got into a
I
car
don't
and
blame
drove off.
her, because
I
the
said
thing is, sorry,
that's
Auntie
what
B, for
Hausa
you,
people will call dance car. That's a dance car mom.
I don't blame her, because when you're, the thing is, I keep telling people, no one chooses to be a single mom. There's circumstances where you end up as a single mom. It's not easy. The frustration, even me, my son, as a this week, like I told you on Sunday, the guy carried my son sharp to his house and he's staying there for the next couple of weeks. It can be frustrating sometimes as a parent. So for her to now decide to dump them with the father, I don't blame her, and I'm not going to condemn her. We don't know the circumstances of why she did it, but at least the children are with their father. They're not with a stranger.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean,
mm,
yeah, you're right.
it's not
The thing,
easy. I mean, someone
mm,
mentioned that you can make an application to family court. If you're talking
yeah,
about the UK, unless the person is a lawyer, I've never seen that. The
yeah.
only
This is a
I've
lawyer.
never
This
I've
is
never
teaching
heard of
connoisseur.
that.
Teaching
Sorry?
connoisseur is a lawyer. She's a barrister. She said you can make an application to the
I've
family
never heard
court,
of that when in my
but the
circumstance.
courts are reluctant to force a parent to
Mm.
care or be involved in their children's life for obvious reasons. So it's a waste of time,
Because the
isn't it?
thing is that even if you take a like this energy, even if you take a horse to water, can you make them drink it? How, even
So
if you put it in place, how will you physically get the father to do it? He, even with the court, unless you say that he's contempt of court, I don't know how it's going to work. So I do agree with kitchen connoisseur, but it's difficult. All you can do is hold them financially responsible. It's
yeah,
some people.
thank
Some
you.
people want to be deadbeat fathers. There's nothing you can do. There's
Mm,
nothing you can do.
yeah, it's unfortunate
It
like
is
that. You see
unfortunate
how
because the
beautiful
child
the young
suffers.
girl is? Can you see how beautiful this girl is?
She's beautiful, but I mean, what can you do? There's a lot of fathers that even when they're divorced, they love their children and they're involved in their children's lives. And there's a small minority that are deadbeat fathers, but there's nothing you can do. You can take them to
Mm.
court, you can take them to child maintenance, child support, but if they don't want to be in their children's life, what can you do?
So I think it goes back to the culture of women are the ones that care for children in
Yeah,
Nigeria.
yeah,
So even in a two-parent household, in most cases, the care is given to is being provided by only
the
women,
mother.
only
Yeah,
mothers. And then you'll
true.
be hearing the woman say, wait till your father come today. The father is always the bad cop.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
that's the
it's only
truth.
a
Even
rare
with
occasion.
mm,
The good cop and bad cop.
there's good.
Most times, yeah, it's always the mom that is the good cop, and they'll say, "Oh, you
Yeah,
wait your." So the father,
yeah,
in which is a very wrong way of parenting, knowing what we know now. So
yeah,
the father is
yeah.
only
I'm
there for
guilty of that as
discipline.
well.
Yeah, it's only discipline that so the only interaction they will have with the children is, oh, listen to your mother. Can't you
Mm,
hear what is to be STEM
the
and to also
punishment.
ensure that because the children will always respect their father more because
Definitely. I've
they are
even
over
yeah,
familiar with
definitely.
their mother. We play
Yeah.
with them. Someone
Yeah.
like me that spoils my children, they can even
I'm the
climb on my
same.
head.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
the same.
You know,
I'm the
but the
same.
fathers tend to be a little bit more detached. So the children respect the fathers more.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just an appeal to fathers. It is very, very important, please, that when a marriage end, especially, and not even when a marriage end, though, there are some fathers that live at home. We talked
Mm.
about it before. There are women that in marriages, it's supposed to be a two-parent household, but they are basically single parents.
Hmm.
A lot of it in our community.
Definitely.
They won't do school runs.
Never.
They will not go to hospital appointment. They will not go to
Mm-mm.
PTA, and that's when you start hearing that they are doing child. You say you're doing. How do they call it? That you are doing. What's that word?
Which one, Auntie B?
When you are looking after, we are being paid to look after. When you pay someone to come and look after your children,
Reminder.
yeah, yeah, you're minding. What is the American word for it? There's something they call it in America
I
where
remember.
you pay. Some parents consider it that they are minding when you are your own child. Instead of parenting, they think that they are doing child minder. They are minding a child.
You know the funny thing, Auntie B, there was a time where I'm not gonna lie, my son's dad was very much, and I kept complaining, complaining. There was one time I think
Babysitting. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking
babysitting,
for.
that's it, yeah.
Babysitting. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There was a time where I was complaining he never came to parents' evening with me for my son. And I was like, what kind of rubbish is this? There's no excuses. I work as well. You work as well. So I got to one stage, I was like, I'm getting fed up of this. So I said to him, you have to come to his parents' evening. It was when he started secondary school. This guy came on, he came with his brother, he came with it was about six of us. We all came. That was the
Good.
first time he came in almost 2 years. And I said, what is wrong with you following me to parents' evening? And he actually realized that, you know what, you're right. I need to be being more active in this boy's
And
education.
yes, he's listening. I mean, I can't even fault that.
Well,
He's
there
listening.
was an argument, Auntie B. Let me be I argued
Yeah,
with
but
him.
he did come. But he came.
And
Honey,
he
babe, you
came
are not easy too.
eventually.
You know,
Maybe I
you
was
are very
drunk. Yeah.
feisty. You know,
Mm,
you are very, very feisty. He did come, so that's what's
mm.
important.
Mm.
So
He
we
came and he's
appreciate
been
that.
coming since because he works locally. He gets home earlier than me. I'm working in London now. So anytime there's parents' evening, he's the one that goes now. So it's actually turned in the other direction where he's available to go to all these stuff that I'm not available. So that that was that change around from when I said to him, I need you to come. So yeah,
Yeah.
it can happen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
We
Auntie
thank
B.
him. We thank him for listening. Yeah, the way you communicate it is also very important, honey babe. You have to be polite, respectful when you are communicating. Yeah. Yeah, but he listened. That's what's important because sometimes people act as best as they know. That's why I'm using that word babysitting. You're watching your child, you say I'm babysitting. It's not babysitting, it's parenting. And if you read that book, Dear Ijawele, you will see it there. It's parenting. And it starts from when the babies are small. All this, you're the one that carried the baby in your womb 9 months. You did all the work yourself, right? You're the one that will breastfeed. But once the baby comes out of your body, you young people that are not married yet, or you haven't had children or planning to have children, this is for you. Let the fathers be involved. Let them change nappies. Let them take what they call it. What do they call that? Paternity leave. Let them bathe the babies. They let your partners be involved. That is where it starts. A parent cannot be saying I'm babysitting. I'm babysitting. No, it's parenting. We need to change the narrative because this is not in the abroad. It's not like in Africa where you have all these nannies and everybody around you that men can just oh come junior just play with junior and go. That is the length of the parenting, or they hold junior for 5 seconds and that's it. No, yeah, both partners have to do it together. It's collaboration. Otherwise, you will do all of it. You will cook, you will clean, you do parenting alone. And that's why a lot of women say they are married, but they feel like single mothers. And it's not good. Dr. First said, Auntie B, what if he intentionally went back to Nigeria just to avoid payment and time sharing? What can one do? Life is just not fair on some of us. I'm so sorry, my darling. I've heard stories. about men running away from the US because of child support. I've heard many stories. If the children are up to 3, 4, on Japa, they kakpa, they kakpa because of child support. That too, yeah. What can you do? You do the best that you can. God will give you the strength to wing it. Halima, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. You've actually touched on most of the things I wanted to say, which is I am not coming from the aspect of I'm still married, I'm still in a marriage. So that's where I'm coming from, because it's not only when man and woman are divorced or separated that some men will not want to take responsibilities. Even in marriages, there are some men that, and I see it as, sometimes when we just give people chances, not just men, women, when you just give them chances, they'll just take that opportunity and just do anyhow, except you make it known that this is how it's supposed to be. So there are some men that, even while in the marriage, they don't really pull their strings like that when it comes to family time or assisting in the home. And I see some women also accepting it. Like what you said, you have a child, you just gave birth, you are getting up to go and cook. Can't you just at least pretend that even if you are strong, pretend like you are okay? Let the man stand up, cook
Oh,
for you,
hold
take care
on
of
now,
you.
Alima. Did you not see
Mm.
that thing on social media where one woman was writing that she gave birth and she
Uh,
came back and cooked? That that all her 5 children that she had. Nigerian women, we are not kind to ourselves.
yeah,
Oh.
those are the things that makes when the man leaves, they'll
Mm.
believe, oh, she's strong enough to do everything. Me personally, there are so many, even sometimes my baby can be in the bathroom shouting, "Mommy, I'm done pooping." Maybe me and the father, we are just sitting there. I'll tell the father, he's calling somebody, go and clean up for him. I don't need to stand up to do everything, because me, I believe these children, they are for both of us. They are not only my child. So get up, he's shouting, so he needs to clean up, go and clean up for him. So many times, even if you are not tired, sometimes I'm not tired, I just tell my husband, go and do this thing, go and cook. Sometimes I'll just say, I've missed your food, go and cook. Go and even, like taking the children to the park and all those things. They know not to come meet me, because they know mommy will never stand up to take them to the park. They know to go and meet their daddy for that. Their daddy is always the one taking them to the park, taking them to the pool and all those things. So me, I believe some women, if they can, just try, even though we've been conditioned to believe we are the one that is supposed to always do everything. Just try sometimes, sit down, give yourself rest. You clean, you will stand up, clean, sit down, just sit down, put your leg up, let your husband to stand up and do something. If he does not know how to use his initiative to do that thing, let him know, tell him. I know they used to say, you can tell him politely, me, I'm not all that, me, I'll just tell you, can you go and do this one? Which one? You are just sitting down, go and do this, do this, do this. I don't like the fact that the women just always put too much things on themselves. That's why when they separate, the men are already detached from the household. They are already detached from the children. So it's very easy for them to just move on away from the children, because even when they were in the house, they were not doing anything. So is it when they are outside the house, when they've left you, you expect them to take responsibility of those children that when they were in the house, they were not taking responsibilities for?
Or when they want to do something, they say, "Oh, I'm helping my wife.
Yes, all those
I'm helping my wife."
yeah, helping me to do it.
The reason why in Nigeria, yeah, in Nigeria, people have maids, they have
Mm-hmm.
domestic help. So men don't need to be physically involved in a
Yes.
lot of
Mm-hmm.
things, right?
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
again, when a man has lived in a society like that and he now
Yeah.
comes abroad, only a
Mm-hmm.
very few
Yeah.
will now take it upon themselves to say, Ilo Ebola wa you, we don't have
Mm-hmm.
help. I know some people, who can afford it will have au pair, but how many people had au pair? Except you
Mm-hmm.
have a very good job that you can afford. Au pairs are expensive. Most
Yes.
people, most people could not afford it. So it's between the two of you. So when you now rest on one person, let me tell
Mm-hmm.
you something, it builds resentment.
Yes. Yes. True.
If you see that a woman, I know a lot of women that feel this way, that they have resentment because
Mm-hmm.
of the burden.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are working, you are the only one cooking, you are the
Mm-hmm.
only one cleaning. You're the only one that is looking after the children, doing childcare, you know. It's too much.
Yeah,
Let's be
that's
considerate.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remembered when my son, this was also 2020, during the COVID time, my son was in the hospital for bone marrow transplant. And they had already told us from the beginning, oh, I will have to be in the hospital for 5 weeks, everything. I just told my husband, I don't care about your work. Oh. We will have to do this thing together. There is nothing like, if you, it's either you get something, something simple that is, I don't know. We just have to do it together, because if I have to take time off work, you should be able to take time off work because it's your child. Just tell them at work you have to take time off work because you have to care for your child. And it was smooth for us because both of us had to put our heads together. We are abroad, no family member, we don't have house help or anybody. As he's at home with the other two children, I'm at the hospital with the other child that is going through the transfusion and everything. And sometimes you just switch it like that. So it's just, somebody should also pray to have somebody supportive. But
Yeah, somebody kind.
yeah,
You don't
somebody
bounce down.
kind.
You know, when we are talking about partners that are kind, that's where
Yeah,
kindness comes in. If
yeah.
you look at this situation now, you will see that there's no way that, her husband or ex-husband was a kind person to her. If he was kind, how is one child going to hospital for surgery? The other one is just 2 years old and there's nobody. Even if you live in a different city, you can say, okay, let me take time off work. Is this work, Sha? Some people cannot think outside of work. I don't have time. Oh. I don't have time. Oh. I don't have time. Oh. And like I said, it builds a lot of resentment. It does build a lot of resentment. And these are not even people that are divorced, though, living together in the same house. I've seen it all too well. There is nothing you can make him do. Come to what's it called? PTA. I don't
Themselves
have
to take
time.
care of themselves, not all
Come to
the time.
PTA. I don't have time. Do school runs. Can I drop them so that you pick them? I don't have time. I remember an incident that happened one time, and oh, it was a very very painful one, whereby this woman wanted to go to work, and it was the first day she was starting work, and the child, it's usually harder when they are in primary school. But when they're a bit bigger, the older they get, the easier it becomes. But at that tender age, 0 to 5, oh my God, it's not even a joke. And she was telling her husband, please, can you drop? And he's self-employed though. It's not like he has an office that he has to go to, that, a boss will say, why are you late or whatever. That's why I say kindness is very, very important. Can you drop this child in school so that I can go on time? Today is my first day at work so that I can resume. It was a battle. He refused. He said no, he has to go to work, or he wake up early to go to work. But if you don't wake up early to go to work today, nothing will spoil. You're self-employed. Anyway, after a long fight, he finally agreed. But you know what happened? He dropped the child outside the school before the opening of the school, and it was raining. And in this UK, in the UK, they are always they take everything very seriously. So they saw that the child was standing outside school before resumption, and they called the woman. Why is your child outside the school before resumption? And the woman said the dad was supposed to drop him. They said, well, he dropped him early before the gates open. And he not only dropped the boy, he dropped him and drove off, left him there. Hmm. My people, marry a kind person, no. Kindness cannot be over. It cannot go out of fashion. It cannot be over explained. I mean, there's nothing like kindness in this world. Tell me how that is not going to impact on their relationship when you live with a partner like that, who couldn't even wait to drop their own child in school for the first day that the wife is going to work, starting a new job. He's self-employed, but he has to run. Left the boy outside in the rain. It is well. To Naija, please unmute yourself. We're rounding up now. Hi, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, thank you. Greetings to everyone, including the chat and the viewers. So yeah, are you asking about? You want me to talk about the topic?
Yeah, we are talking about this topic about parenting people. So we're looking at it from, I don't know, maybe you just joined. We're talking looking at it from the angle of people that Japa without on a temporal visa, and the impact it has on them here in the abroad. And we're also looking at it from the point of, Jackpine with young children, when a marriage ends, the parental responsibility from both fathers and mothers and all that. So you can, just talk about
Mm.
what you feel comfortable to talk about.
Yeah, thank you. Regarding the incidents that occurred, it was a tragic accident. I think generally you do get these type of tragic incidents now and again within societies. I think I remember a case of a white lady leaving her child in the car in the summer and overheated, and the child lost her life. So it's a tragic incident. Maybe the person that was supposed to be caring for the child somehow got carried away, and it just happens that this person is a Nigerian that I happened to that was struggling at the same time.
Mhm.
Um, but that said, in terms of how it fits, the men fit into the equation. Um, I think that it wasn't long ago I heard that the UK police was telling Nigerian women not to be calling police for their husbands, because there is the dynamics in the UK and the West is different from the dynamics on the continent, and sometimes our women, when they get here, they become they become like super activists against men, and I actually think there is, from what I hear, there is an undercurrent of unfairness that many of our women feel, that the men get some kind of privilege over them, and I'm not necessarily convinced, based on what is happening in society, that is true. If you look at life expectancy and stuff like that, and you look
What
at
do you
the kind
mean
of
by
adjustment,
undue advantage? Where, in Nigeria or in the abroad?
I think almost everywhere. You heard the previous speaker say something about how the men abandon the women and stuff like that, but there is a reason why the men are not present, because the dynamics is often not tolerable to the women, and the women kick them out, or one reason or the other they are not around. And whether we blame the West, we can blame the West all we want, that the society, they didn't design it for us, but we too have to take responsibility for our own action, because sometimes our people buy into their own narrative more than the way Indians or some other communities will buy into their narrative, and we destroy our own family units
Why do we
in the
always use
process.
this Asian example? I see a lot of people using that Asian example. Do you know what happens in Asian community?
Now, to an extent, I know they have their issues, but I know to an extent what happens there.
I really wish people would stop using Indians as examples because they have their own issues. Okay, I know people say this all the time. The way marriages are in the abroad, they have more divorce than us. But that's not the topic. Anyway, go ahead.
Mm. I think
Mm.
the difference between them and us is that they have managed. You see, that's the thing. Even if they have divorces, the effect on their community is not very significant. They have managed to shape it in such a way that they are not overrepresented in the social services, courts, and all those areas. If
That's
you look at
because
it,
you are not there. That's why you're speaking from the social media angle, what you see on social media. And
no, no, no.
remember,
I've been to the
remember,
courts. I've seen it in courts.
you've been to court.
Yeah, if you go to the court, black people are overrepresented in such courts. If you go to social services systems, black people are overrepresented. If you look at property ownerships, all those things, they do better than us, because the effect of breaking up families is not as significant on them. For some reason, they know how to manage it better than we do.
What
So
do you think
those
is
are the.
responsible? What's
I,
responsible for why if you I don't believe that they are more successful in terms of managing relationships. But if you're saying so because you say you have some knowledge about it, what do you think is responsible for that? Why
I
we don't tend to manage marriages and relationships better?
Um, I think it's because they tend to export their culture generally to the West to an extent, and even when the West impacts them, they also, because of that, the strength of the way they exercise their culture in terms of the community, not individually, because we like to do things quite individually in overseas, but as a community, they tend to contain it in terms of, like, if you look at a street, that they can buy a whole property in the entire street, like they will just own everything. How do you think they do that? because their community, they have a close-knit network whereby even if they have problems, they don't allow their wealth spill out. For some, it's a structural thing, and I think maybe it comes from their homeland that they export here. We in our own homeland, we came here to serve. Let's face it, we are people who come to serve. We are service people. This is why when a Nigerian man is in any office, if I walk into that office, I'll be more afraid than if a Jamaican or maybe even an Indian is in that office. Because a Nigerian person will be in that office, will carry that Oyibo man in their head. Like, I'm going to kill this guy that is coming here. Whether he's in Nigeria or not, I don't care. But when they leave that office, then they remember that they are human beings. They are their fellow Nigerians. Like this Kemi Badenoch now. You see, when she's in office, she's acting as if she wants to kill every Nigerian and Nigeria is rubbish and all the rest. The moment she leaves office now, she's back to being black. It's funny how we do
So
that thing.
so you're talking about everything, and I can't quite. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. I know you're trying to make a point about how our people behave when we come here, but with reference to marriages and childcare and all the things that we're talking about, I don't quite get you.
Okay, where I'm coming from is that because of the way we manage our own families when we get to the West, it leads to some of these negative outcomes that you are describing. Like
Mhm.
the men are absent, the men are not contributing enough, and the women are left with all the burdens.
Mhm.
To the point whereby a policeman in the UK saying, "Stop calling
No,
police
no,
for
no,
your
no, no.
husband."
Okay, so you said it twice now. I need to correct you.
Okay, correct it
Fact
now.
check, fact check. To Ninja, I don't know where you are. That's a lie. Please.
Okay,
A
no,
policeman in the UK did not say that. That was an uncle who is not even a metropolitan police, he's a community police. He went to a church and he was
mm-hmm.
not representing the UK police. Please. Let's not
Okay,
where so social media was running with that. I did a show on it. They were
mm.
running with it because it suit the narrative, but that's not it's fake news.
No,
Please.
okay. So you are saying that a community officer said that?
In a church, and it was not
Okay,
representing the UK police.
okay. So let's say it's not representing the UK police, but if an official comes out and says, "Okay, this stuff is happening so much, you need to slow down," and it's on one side, and we see it, you know it full well. Now you see many women, they will come here, they will say, "Oh, the men are doing this, the men are doing that," and this is true. But the problem with many men is that they will not tell you what their own other challenges that they face themselves. Nigerian men are known all over Africa, maybe not, maybe the world, for taking responsibility for their families, but somehow our women don't see that.
Okay, so you're making very blanket statements, which is what I don't really like.
But I did focus on your point now when you said, I
Yes,
said,
no, you're talking about Nigerian women generally, like all Nigerian women are you painting us with one brush, like all Nigerian men are saints, Nigerian women who come abroad are
no,
all
no, no,
calling
no,
police and all that. Hold
no,
on,
no.
just hold on to Ninja. I have somebody who's actually in the system in the studio. Maybe I think she jumped in when she heard your point. You think understand? Mute yourself. You are in the system.
You're
So
right. Hi,
you
Brie.
have
How are you?
hi,
I,
welcome,
you
welcome.
are right. I jumped in when I heard him speaking. I think
Yeah.
that is the narrative that we need to shut down.
Mm.
First of all, I'll talk about this last week, I was speaking at a safeguarding conference in one of the in a borough that you and I have worked for, where the majority of the people, the residents there, are of Asian heritage, right?
Yes.
They make up approximately 90% of the
Yes.
population.
Yes.
And if I tell you the numbers, and it was the
We were
safeguarding
doing
conference
safeguarding every day.
every day. So I was waiting for you to say that
No,
because you remember
no, when they say Asian, they just use Indians. I'll be laughing, and because we've worked in the system and we know these things, but people just
every single day.
because they
Then
see the Nigerian stories and all these things on social media, people run with it
yes,
and say, "Oh, Indians and Asian people have successful marriage. They don't have issues. They don't call police." Are you
no,
kidding? Are you
no.
joking?
No, so I'll tell you the latest. So these are fresh off the press. They had an amazing increase of domestic violence, domestic abuse cases during COVID, and it's steadily increased. It's increased to an all-time high in those places. And remember, they not only just deal with the sort of assaults and things like that, they also deal with something that we don't deal with in our communities. They deal with honor-based violence. They
Mm-hmm,
deal
mm-hmm.
with forced marriages. That
Mm-hmm.
is a very present reality that is so big there that affects all ages in those communities. So it's important that when we talk about the stories that affect us as Africans, we're not blinkered about what's happening next door. They are having issues, sometimes even bigger issues than we are.
Even white people that have the
Yes.
country self, they have issues too.
Yes, and then when he talks about being overrepresented in the courts, it depends on where you are. If you are in inner London, you're going to have black people being. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Kitchen
Yeah.
connoisseur.
If you are in inner London, black people are going to be overrepresented. But if you go to the counties, you go to Kent, Surrey, Sussex, Essex, and all those, you
Oh,
have a
Scotland.
different
Mm-hmm.
dynamic. If you
Mm-hmm.
go to up north, you have a different dynamic. If you go to Midlands, you have more black people there. You have Africans. You have people of Afro-Caribbean descent. So you have to be sure when you are talking about these things.
It's like
And
saying in
these,
Birmingham,
Um,
if you go to a place
yes,
like Birmingham,
yeah, and these
which is
narratives are dangerous. I mean, I stand every single day and I look at all these facts and I deal with these cases. And it's unfortunate to hear a brother saying these things. You have to take things and contextualize them.
Let me say this. There's something they said about about smart people. They say smart people are often the easiest to fool because they double down on the knowledge. Um, if you look at the
No
actual
one's
numbers,
fooling me.
let
No
me
one
let me
is fooling me.
let me
So to
just
wipe that
finish what I'm saying.
statement
Please
off.
let me finish what I'm saying. You are the one that's saying I made a mistake without actually checking the data. If you look at the data, it says 4.5% of this in cases in with social services is this in by black people, while 1 point something percent is from Indians. So if you and I've seen it with my own eyes, and you can even tell by the level of wealth that they control in the UK. So I don't understand why
what
this
has
is even
that
a
got?
debate.
What has that got
Can
to
I?
do with the
You
topic,
know
the
what?
wealth
No,
one?
no, no,
Yes,
but
the
she's saying
wealth
what I
has
said was false.
it is false. It is false, and I would
Just give
want
me
us to
numbers.
come
Give me
back.
your detail. Give me your number.
No, I'm not giving you a number. You come back to this show, organize a show. I'll bring statistics and I'll bring details, and I'll invite this brother to sit in the back of a courtroom and listen to things, and he'll come back and swallow his words. It's important that
I
you are
don't know.
not running off a narrative that is misleading
See,
people. You are
see,
misleading people.
it's not misleading. I'm giving you the details,
You
and
are
if you
talking to
say that
somebody
is
that is a
true,
barrister. Do you
You are
work in the court?
even if
misleading.
she's a barrister, you see, I
Uh-huh.
said it before. Barristers are
Bridget,
not God. They are
but
humans
Bridget,
that are
Bridget,
You
susceptible to
want, I
errors.
think you want to play the gender game. I
No,
don't
no,
know
Bridget,
if
it's
you
not
want.
about
Bridget.
gender.
Because we have not learned anything from anything you said, without
Okay.
due
See,
respect.
no,
We've
it's
not
okay.
learned
You don't
anything. We're
have
here
to. You
about
don't
the
have to. It's
lessons,
up to
and
the
you're
people that are
here
listening.
doing gender bad meeting.
But I didn't do gender stuff. I just said the data is, and it's about
No, that
the
where did
And
you
two
get the data
constitutions.
from? Where?
and
The data
the
is
date.
from the UK ethnicity statistics. They say it
No,
let me read it. Let me read it. If you want me to read it, said in the UK, black individuals are more represented in social
no,
services case. Okay, fine. I'm making a
no.
mistake.
We have worked in the system. I've told you that Bridget and I worked in a borough that was predominantly Asian, and I'll tell you, before that I'd worked in a borough that had both black, white, and Asian people, where the statistics were not so high. When I got to Tower Hamlets, we were rushed off our feet. We were working all the time. It was constant. We were attending coroner's inquiries for things. It was constant. There were so many things that we were doing. If you don't have that expose into the amount of damage that is being done in different communities, I suggest that you go away, get that information, come back, and then educate people. It's very dangerous on a forum like this. You know, Peace Forum is a forum that's listened to by many people. Be careful what you say to people.
I
Be
don't know
very, very
what is
careful.
dangerous about shedding
Yes,
light
and
No, no,
and
no, no,
and
no,
then
on
because
issues.
it's misleading. The information
it's
you are giving is
misleading.
But I
misleading.
It is,
you want me to,
and there is
okay, she
no
said I should provide evidence. That's fine. If you want to have a show, I'm available. My channel is there. You can reach me. I will
I
See,
will
if you
not.
have
go and
a
listen
channel,
with
yeah,
you.
to Ninja, I've seen your name before. Please, this thing is broader
Don't
than the
worry
way we are
about that
looking at it.
channel.
Anybody can run. I'm not saying, look, I don't play the gender this gender war. I don't play it. Do you know why? I like to treat things on a case to case basis. Because when you jump into the gender bandwagon, you miss the whole point. So we
Or a
can easily say,
nationality bandwagon, because here he's also talking about wealth. Wealth has got absolutely nothing to do. You don't know what goes on in Lifisari. Have you looked at the statistics of what goes on in Lifisari? Have you gone to Buckinghamshire where you've got those people with so much money? Of course, there's no argument about the fact that Asians are wealthier. But have you looked at the statistics in wealth and compared them to abuse? You can't.
Yes.
There is no comparison, and there is no correlation. If you have done a study that shows us correlation, give it to us. We read it. It's important. It's
I
important that
never
you
really
don't
studied.
say
I
things
never
like
really
that.
studied abuse in terms of within the
exactly,
community.
we that work
The abuse.
we that work in that sector, we are telling you that it's not a blanket thing. It's not one size fits all. London, UK is very, very big. You have different you have
Communities.
communities, you have different boroughs, and black people, majority of especially Africans, West Africans or East Africans, South Africans are in London. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can't just say and say in the UK, the UK police said that Nigerian women. I'm not saying that Nigerian women don't call the police, and I'm
Mm.
not saying that every man that has been called the police for is a bad person. We know, and that's why we always deal with things on an issue specific. Because if you don't,
Mm.
you're gonna miss it. You will
See,
miss it.
sorry, let me just say something. I think the temperature we use to determine what abuse is so Western. Is sometimes we forget that we are from a totally different culture.
Well, if
Look
you
at this post. Let me just look at this post on the screen. You are talking about Asian people, yet with all that abuse that they are experiencing, from your point of view, how is it that they have a better outcome than us? How?
better outcome as in what? And the one thing that you have to
Name
be
it.
careful.
Just
You
name
you
it.
you have to be careful about the number that you are saying. Black people are represented by social services. Black people go to social services for different things. Sometimes it's poverty, sometimes it's abuse. You haven't got a breakdown of the statistics in terms of who goes to whatever. I've never known black people to go there for forced marriage or
Are you, are,
honor-based
are
violence.
you trying to say that we have, as Africans, we have a different definition for abuse than in the West? Is that what you're trying to say to Niger? I don't
Um,
understand.
I'm trying to say that when we use words, we have to remember whom we are first. Because when the Oyibo people were in our own stage, the definition of these words were very different to them.
Okay, I'll answer you on that one. So you come here to England and you stay here. By coming here and seeking the beloved papers that we love to seek, you submit yourself to the authority of this country. If you submit yourself to the authority of this country, you have to submit yourself to the law of this country, and that includes their definition of what domestic abuse is. If kicking someone at home is not domestic abuse, it is here. So if you choose to live in this country, you have to do as the Romans do. That is it. You can't
Mhm.
start screaming that we want our African definition. Go and scream that in Lagos. Go
But
back
you
to
know,
Lagos and scream
I
that
didn't say
definition
that.
there.
I
and you
just
know
said
the funny thing.
you should
Let me tell you
remember
something
who you
again.
are
In
when you are
addition,
defining it.
Kitchen Corner, so let me add this. This law, we
Mm,
have our social work law. We
mm,
have the laws of the land. They were not designed for us. The people
yeah,
that own the land designed the law to protect themselves.
Exactly.
exactly.
So when
If
you
you
bring
don't
yourself
want it,
here, you have to submit yourself to the laws of
yeah,
the land.
yeah.
It doesn't mean that. Let me tell you something. I will
Mm,
give this to you. Anything here can be abused, including the law can be
mm.
abused. Because there are loopholes where people, I think that's where you're coming from, where people can say, okay, this is what happens in this part of the world. So I'm going to do this to get this outcome. So everything is subject to being, misused. However,
I,
I think that's what you're
Okay,
trying to
see,
say. But you
yeah,
see, you
I
were
I get what
jumping.
you mean. I'm just saying that if you are doing something like I'm not saying you should disobey the law of the land. but you should disobey the law of the land. But when you are trying to apply, I mean, you should obey the law of the land. But when you're applying to your community in terms of judging your people, you have to remember that. But what we do is that we forget. We think we are Oyibo. It's like a poor man thinking like the rich man's child. That is
Can
a
I?
wrong-minded
Naija,
mentality.
Can I? Can
A
I?
baby, a 2-year-old baby. We are talking about a 2-year-old baby that very sadly, very tragically lost her life
Mm,
under a very terrible condition. I can't
mm,
see no empathy from your voice. You
mm.
jump in here and you start with all this talking point of how Nigerians come here, how they call police, how Asians have money, how Asians don't call police, and you start bringing out statistics. And I'm wondering, are you? I don't understand why? I don't get
I
it.
come across as lacking empathy because I talk on generally on a macro level. However, I did say that these tragic events occurs either in the UK here or in Nigeria. We shouldn't necessarily think it's just because the lady is without a man. There are women here that forget their children in the car during the summer and they
So
die,
does that make it okay because it
unfortunately loses
happens
their life, her
everywhere?
life, or
Does it make it all right?
yeah, I think people make mistakes. No, it doesn't make it all right, but it's a tragic accident. Whoever was supposed to take care of that child is probably in total distress right now, and that person is probably going to need
So the way I do my show, I do it from a point of view of learning. Like, I don't just come here and be talking. I do it from a point of view of learning. What do we learn from this? That's all we are all about here. If there's nothing to learn, then there's no point to talk about it. I don't care about the talking points. I don't care about the stereotypes, whether it's negative or whatever. Yeah, because as much as you think that we are the ones that are the end of the what do they call it? Is worst off in our community. It's actually not. It's not.
Yeah. Someone in the comment section has also mentioned that very case that was in the news over the past few weeks of the lady who was found in a car. And it would be interesting of which, heritage she came from. If my friend, I would nearly say my learned friend, if my friend would so much as, make himself familiar with that case, he might change his views.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah, for me, kitchen connoisseur, the way we do here, it's not about blaming or shaming. We can
No,
be here
no.
all day and talking about how our people
Mm,
are,
mm,
how men are, how women are. Nobody
mm.
learns anything from that.
We
How
just
can we
have
be better? What can
we,
we
we
do better?
you know what, and as much as sometimes I know that we always say that, oh, it's a Western idea, but a lot of the laws that are there to just protect people. And very often we talk about where we come from, and we talk about how sometimes the less privileged or those people who are vulnerable in society are not really looked after by our laws, in whatever country we come from. And it's important to look at those and appreciate why they are there, and try and make sure that we come under them. We seek help where the help is available. And as communities, we learn the good things. If we can take away the good things from here, we can go back and make our communities better at home.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even if we don't go and live there, but it's just sharing the knowledge with those
Mm-hmm,
at home that,
mm-hmm,
what, we've learned one or two things. Not everything here is palatable, not everything here is wonderful, but where things are done well, we need to, be truthful and say these things are being done well. We could learn one or two things from these things and take away
mm,
those things and learn. And as
mm.
you say, the good thing about your community is about a learning community. It's not about going back to finger pointing, to blaming, to doing all sorts of things. It's about a recognition that there is a problem.
Yeah, I agree with you that we should learn from the good things that can apply to our communities, especially when it comes to this thing, working together to develop to a point where they got to. We are learning from where they are now. We are not learning from how they got here, and that is where many of us miss it. They went through all these stages we are going through. If you are not equipped to behave like them, if you try to, you will fail because it's like a poor man's child trying to behave like the child of a billionaire. You will fail. You have to know where you are and strategize accordingly. That's what other groups did. If you look at Asians now or the other groups, when they come to the West now, they act like rich people because nobody troubles them. There was a time they were treating them like us. We were like them too. They were overrepresented in all the negative this is statistics. But now most of them have left it because they strategize within their own homeland. Like all of us that are coming here in the West now, we have to learn critical things, important things, not just learning their social way of life.
And you
What
too
did they
that is
do
on
to
social
do that?
media, yeah, you that is on
Yes.
social media, you have a responsibility not to ignite negative stereotypes, especially when it comes to
Oh
gender and
no,
relationship and
did I
marriages.
do that? Did
No,
I
you
do
come
that?
across as somebody that will feel it because of the
No,
statement that
I
you're
think your
making.
statements, the reason why I jumped on, I was listening, I was quietly minding my own business while doing other things, enjoying the conversation. And your statements were inflammatory, but you generated conversation. And the good thing is that we learn from those conversations. It's not about going away with sour grapes or upset or whatever. It's about us learning and realizing that there are some people who think in certain ways, and we need to correct that narrative. We need to challenge, well, not correct, but we need to challenge that narrative and ask
Mm.
people to be accountable for why they say the things they do. The fact is, we're in the Western world. You can't get out of it. You can't create your own little Africa. There is no
Hmm.
African
I
kingdom. There's
like
no
that.
Bantu kingdom here.
I really like
That
that. You can't
belongs
create
Right,
your
but
own
why
little
would you
Africa.
like that? You see, that's the kind of stuff you shouldn't like. Why would you like something like that?
You
This is
can't create
exactly
your
why
own
we
little
are the
Africa.
poorest. We come here to
Mm.
come and be poor. You see, those other groups don't do
who,
that.
who,
Other
who
groups, the
said
moment they
we're
leave their
poor? Who said we're poor
yeah, yeah,
because we are
yes,
law
we are.
abiding? Being law
Oh, you are not.
abiding, being law abiding does not. That's where I'm saying you are correlating things that shouldn't be correlated. You are
Mm.
somehow thinking that if you are rich, you are different. No,
And
there are
please, can
lots
you?
of people.
Yeah, I'm going to end now because I plan to do 1 hour and now it's taking me to 2 hours.
Sorry,
To
B.
Ninja,
Sorry.
please.
Sorry
So
about
This
that.
comparing, it is not wise to compare two groups, especially when it comes to, when you're trying to, if you have, like I said, you have a responsibility. It's not just for you to create awareness, to share information that is correct, accurate information, because there is a lot of information that you shared tonight that I checked you on. I fast checked you because I don't like, because it's so easy to spread, fake news. Again, comparing women, always comparing, oh, Asian women, it's not good. A lot of
Mm.
black people on social media always you're always talking negatively about black women. Why? That's something we need to be aware of. I'm not saying that black women are saints. It's just a human thing. That's the way I see it. There are bad men, there are bad women. There are good men, there are good women. So let us stop this comparison. Oh, black women this, and we raise other cultures up. Oh, Indian women do this. Oh, and then when some black men is these white women they'll be comparing us with. It's not fair. It's
mm,
not
I'm
fair
mm,
at all.
balancing
Please
things
let's stop
out.
it.
So what I hear here sometimes is that the men are irresponsible. The men are not there. You can see it in the chat before now. They were saying all those things. All I did was I wasn't saying our women are bad. I never said they were bad. If I wanted to say something about our women, there are a lot of things I would say. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to balance it out that there is something else going on here. This is why I didn't even blame the woman for leaving a child with those people, because accidents happen. You can't always legislate for all these freak accidents. If let's say there was excess death among black community, okay, now we have a crisis at our hands. We need to deal with that. But this is a freak accident that occurred. You see
What
why?
if the
That's why I'm not
father,
blaming
what
her.
I would have, the way I would have loved you to balance it, yeah, is for you to say that fathers should do better because there's a father. This child has a father. I didn't hear you say that once. Where is the father? Yes, accident happened. But do you also know that accidents are preventable?
Yes, and
There
then you
are
got
some
blame the mother.
accidents that didn't need to happen. This accident didn't need to happen. It happened because of a failure. And the person that has the parental responsibility is the mom and the dad.
mm.
Mother was in hospital with the other child. Where's the dad? But you didn't speak about that.
No, I agree with you on that. If you are looking at it as an individual, anecdotally like that. However, if you look at it on the broad terms, it happens even when the parents are there or when the parents are not there. I didn't blame the woman, neither did I blame the man. It's a tragic accident has occurred in this case. That is how I see from my point of view.
Okay, thank you very much to Niger. I
Thank you
appreciate you for your
so much.
contribution. Thank you, Kitchen Cornel, sir.
Take
I've
care.
done
Thank
longer than I planned to, but thank you for jumping in because at a point I didn't know what I was confused. I mean, I did think that Tunanja had a point, but it was just not very coordinated in terms of presentation because it was jumping from having assets to marriage, talking
you.
about Asians, talking about our people who are
Yeah, yeah,
represented, quoting
yeah.
some statistics that I don't know where he got it from, and also saying that how we are the ones that are calling the police, and no, that there was just a lot of too
Wow,
many things
yeah.
that yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
Thanks
okay.
for
Thank you
saving
so
me.
much. Great show. Take
I
care.
appreciate you. God bless you, sis. I love you. This is me that said I was going to do 1 hour today. It's always something to these live shows. Anyway, what I want you to go with, take all the good advice that you've been given tonight. If you are listening to this you are in Nigeria or anywhere in Africa, you want to Japa, please Japa legally. The wahala of illegal Japa is too much. And as I said, those who did it, don't say, but this person did it in 1980. Somebody did it in 1919. Immigration laws are constantly changing. And in this climb where we are in the world today now, it's getting worse. In January, Donald Trump will be sworn in. And you guys remember what happened the last time? He's already making lists of the people that he's going to deport. If God help us, this Kemi Badenoch gets in too at some point, then we are in trouble. So please, I know people are looking for greener pastures. People are trying to find, ways to make life better. But always make sure that you get the right document to leave. Don't just leave on a 6 months visa or 1 year visa and then you'll be stuck. Again, if you have young children, think about it. Childcare is very, very expensive. Can you afford it? Are you going to be able to work, pay your bills, and looking after 2 small children or 3 small children? Please think about all these things. Sometimes you might need to leave your children with your parents back in Africa, wherever you are, because it's easier. If you have parents that are still able, or you have sisters or relatives that can help you care, I know it's hard, but sometimes you have to make these tough decisions because in the abroad, it's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. Don't bring in babies here. Hey, it's not easy. Oh. And then lastly, parents, it's your responsibility to protect your children. God has blessed you with these children for a reason. Look at this beautiful, beautiful baby now, gone. And I know that Tunaja was saying that it's an accident, but some accidents are preventable. It doesn't need to happen. If the mother didn't go to hospital, this baby will be here today. So please, whatever the circumstance is, whatever led to the divorce, let's say like I said, let's say that the woman is a Delilah or whatever, Jezebel. Your children are not Jezebel. You have a response. Don't just walk away and not look back. Don't walk away and not look back. It's very, very important that when God has blessed you and given you this gift that money cannot buy, you have to protect them. It's your God-given responsibility to ensure that children are safe and they are protected. I am begging you, put the hurt, the pain, whatever that you're going through, put it aside. This is between adults, like Dr. Ife told us. Marriage is between adults, but the children, they are innocent bystanders. Please, Ejo, to your long. I'm begging you, don't allow children suffer for the sins of the father or the mother. That's all I can say. Thank you very much, everybody. Don't abandon your children, no, Ejo, torí Ọlọ́run o. Because if you abandon them now, when you are old, they will abandon you. Oh. Look after your children. Do the best that you can. God knows. Even if nobody knows, whatever has been said about you, God is the one that sees everything. Just do your best and leave the rest. Thank you very much, guys. I'm back tomorrow for a live stream, and I'm going to be talking about this matter of a boy in Nigeria. How many of you saw it? That took the parents to court in Nigeria. He said that they abandoned him in a boarding school. Again, we're talking parenting tomorrow. This one will be very, very interesting. I want all of you to show and bring people in, because parenting is one thing that a lot of people struggle with in this part of the world. Let's dissect it tomorrow. What is the implication of this thing? The boy said that his parents shipped him to Nigeria and left him in a boarding school. Now he's taking his parents to court, and the lawyer said that he's claiming abandonment. Hey, look, this case, every diaspora need to pay attention, no, because there are far-reaching consequences if this boy wins this case. So the question, there's lots of questions I want to ask tomorrow. Where does your right stop as a parent? And where does the child's right? Remember, we're talking about a 13-year-old boy. So let's talk about it tomorrow. I've set it up already. If you'd have seen it on my page on YouTube. Yeah, let's talk about this issue of when you send your child to school abroad, that they can take you to court now. Hey, that one, in fact, yeah. Thank you very much, Fola. I appreciate that. Sissy said, why people send their children abroad for schooling? So what's the difference? Yeah. I'm curious to know what the outcome of this case is going to be. But let's talk about, what this could potentially mean for a lot of African parents who are thinking of sending their children back home for school and for living with relatives or whatever. They are going to take us to court now. We take them back to their home country. 13-year-old boy. And yeah, let's discuss that tomorrow. Thanks to everybody that called in. Give us a thumbs up. Please share, subscribe, and I shall see you tomorrow. Thank you, guys. I love you. Hey, guys. It's your girl, Auntie B here. Are you enjoying this show? Are you gaining some value from it? Have you subscribed? Have you liked this video? Or you're just one of those people that come to watch and walk away? YouTube subscription is absolutely 100% free. Do remember to subscribe. Do remember to share this video, and also give us a thumbs up and share it on all your social media handles. Share it on your WhatsApp groups. Send it to your friends, your loved ones in Nigeria. And if you want to support our work by donating to the channel, we have the details of our PayPal and our accounts here. Please use them. And remember, God loves a generous giver. Support our work, show us appreciation. The year is coming to an end. Say, Auntie B, this is for your Christmas present. Just send us a donation today. And I really appreciate all my lovers and my friends out there. Thank you. Ajoshewa Onibajeo.